I start out this essay with, "What's up, bro?" I just realized I had a UCLA shirt on and we don't support free advertising here, and it's a trash school, so much better. What's up, guys? It's your boy Yankee Sam 11, and a couple months ago, I made this video about how college was not a great experience for me. That being said, I realized it's college application season. A lot of people are applying to colleges. That means a lot of people are looking up college videos on YouTube. And who doesn't love trying to chase the YouTube algorithm? Out of all these college application videos, one of the more common videos is people reading the essays that got them accepted into a school. I realized yesterday that I still have all my college application essays from when I applied to college. But I got rejected from way more colleges than I got accepted to. That being said, I'm gonna read you the essay that I wrote that got me rejected from Stanford University. Why Stanford? Again, I'm just in it for the views. People are gonna click that ish. Now, to be clear, I have not read any of these essays since I submitted them. And so I have no idea how this is gonna go. Maybe this helps you when you apply to not write the essays that I wrote. The first prompt is, what is the most significant challenge that society faces today? And I wrote, the greatest injustice in the world is the silencing of voices. Yeah, not wrong, not wrong. I mean, there's poverty and homelessness and cancer. Controversial topics that could cause discomfort are often avoided, thus blocking the flow of ideas. Now that part's probably true, right? Like if I say I'm gonna get canceled. And now that I have a full-time job, something that I think about a lot when I make a YouTube video is this gonna get me fired? I'm kidding. If you're my employer and you see this, please don't fire me. However, without facing the issues that exist, solutions can never be found. All voices must be heard in order to ensure innovation and inspiration. Okay, this is like something that I did in a lot of essays, I think. I used a lot of big words, buzzwords, because I thought that would like catch the eye of the reader. But now it just sounds kind of cringe. Using big words doesn't mean you're smarter, guys.
Kabara Goya. I know it! I know it! I totally know it! I.A. Kabara Goya.
What? And this is not at all how I talk in real life. Like, I be out here throwing out ain'ts and bruh, dropping the G on all my ing words. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I wrote the way I talk. Maybe they would have accepted me, you know? Diversity. Stanford loves that, right? If I got this prompt today, I don't know, we got a thing called COVID, inflation. I just found out today that a munchie meal is now $9 instead of $6. I think Jack in the Box raising their prices taught me more about inflation than 4 years of studying economics at UCLA. Honestly, college is a pyramid scheme. You go there, get a piece of paper, your employer sees that and is like, yo, you did something good. But did you really do something good, or did you just spend your Thursdays partying? This essay isn't terrible though, like it's got some truth in it. Diversity of thought is like super important. And I really do wish that we were more free to say what we think. There's this concept out there, I'm gonna get a little nerdy on you guys. It's called the marketplace of ideas. Basically what it says is, if we're completely free to say and discuss our true thoughts, eventually the good ideas will overtake the bad ideas until the bad ideas don't exist anymore. The better product will always win. That's one compelling reason for free speech. Second prompt, how did you spend your last 2 summers? If I remember correctly, the summer before my senior year of high school, I worked to develop a SoundCloud album that was absolutely garbage. But I remember both of those summers, I really wanted to work. And I remember my dream job back then was to be a server / waiter at Denny's and just make hella tips. Because I thought I was like really personable. I thought I could make a whole bunch of tips. And then I realized maybe I'm not all that likable. I wrote and produced a lot of music because songwriting forces me to examine myself and my motives. I was able to explore and discover what makes me who I am. Music provided an outlet for my self-expression, a way of me communicating my innermost thoughts. Wow, that's super basic. Wait, I wonder if I can still find my music. Oh my gosh, am I gonna cringe?
Go back to 05.
Oh, nope.
Back when we had no worries and a dream.
What did I say? Throwback to 05. Kindergarten was so fly. But throwback to 05, kindergarten was so fly. Man, I was a lyrical genius back then. Third prompt. What historical moment or event do you wish you could have witnessed? If I were to answer this right now, I would want to be in Mr. Beast's bedroom. Wow, that sounds really bad. I would want to be in Mr. Beast's bedroom when he first became big and see what his reaction was like. Either that or my own birth so that I could see my mother in pain. Sometimes I wish I could have seen Jesus' resurrection. Wow, I'm deep. Growing up as a Christian, my faith's foundation is in the death and resurrection of Jesus, yet there are moments when I doubt God. It's still kind of true. In those moments, I desperately wish I could have physically encountered Jesus so that my doubts and fears would cease. Wow, I sound like some of those Christian kids that were homeschooled and like all they did was go to church, weren't allowed to trick or treat, which kind of true, I wasn't allowed to trick or treat. I remember the moment when I was writing these words. It was like not the best moment of my life. In fact, like I was pretty depressed. It's a real big blessing to think about where I am right now and how much God has overcome through that. As for it being a college essay, like the whole point of these essays is to show something about yourself to these admissions people that they can't see through your stats. And to be honest, I don't know how much this actually says about me. Like after reading this, like what do you know about me? I think this is prompt 4. Stanford students possess an intellectual vitality. What does that mean? Reflect on an idea or experience that has been important to your intellectual development. Figuring out that being Korean is cool. That didn't really come to me until college. So at this point in my life, I still very much did not like being Korean, did not like being Asian, and a lot of reasons for that. The biggest of which was most of my friends weren't Asian. I always felt like I had to belong with them, and so I ended up hating a lot of the culture I grew up with. But then I went to college and I realized like there's a lot of people out there that embrace their culture. And I don't think it was until I realized like it's cool to be Korean that I learned to like accept that part of who I am. What did I write about back then though? In 11th grade, I read a play called The Sunset Limited. I do remember that title. I have no idea what it's about. Let me spark note this real quick. Oh, it's a movie. Samuel L. Jackson. Sheesh. Spiritual man and a suicidal professor have a philosophical debate about the meaning of life, purpose, and theology. I'm a real intellectual, guys. What can I tell you? The film is about a relationship between a black man with a positive view of life and a white man with a very negative view. Well, I have nothing to say about that. Back to the essay. Sunset Limited is about a black man trying to convince a white suicide survivor that God can save his life. As a Christian, I grew up believing that God provides eternal life for all who have faith. And so I identified with the black man as he struggled to convince the white man that God is enough. Despite my desire for the white man to live, my lasting impression of the story was when the white man said, "Show me a religion that prepares one for death. There's a church I might enter." Okay, maybe this was actually deep. I take it back. Like, if you guys ever wonder what happens after death, like, clearly I believe that there's a heaven, but sometimes I do think, like, what if it's just like the blinds close and there's nothing else? Growing up in a Christian household made it hard for me to understand the doubts a non-believer might have about God. However, reading opened up an unexplored world for me. Sunset Limited constructed a pathway for me into the thought processing of a non-believer. Again, a lot of big words. You guys don't need to use big words. I was able to recognize why someone like the white man might find it hard to believe in a loving God due to the pain in his life. And after reading Sunset Limited, I had to reassess my approach to evangelism. I had to reassess my beliefs. I learned that I must listen to what others think even when it conflicts with my own thoughts. Okay, pause right there. This is something that I think is huge in college essays. If you have a running theme through your college essays, I think it's really good. Like, I started off my first essay with saying, yo, we need to express our beliefs. We need to express our values. And then in this essay, I talk about how we need to listen. We need to listen to others' beliefs. So if you have this running theme, it shows what you're really passionate about and the type of character you are. But I think I end this essay by saying, I learned that true learning happens when I'm exposed to opposing ideas, which means that I must always be willing to listen even when I disagree. And again, that comes back to this big theme, like we have to listen to each other. We have to appreciate the different thoughts that people have. Next essay. Virtually all of Stanford's undergraduate students live on campus. Write a note to your future roommate that reveals something about you or that will help your roommate and us know you better. You guys are gonna love the way I start this off. Remember how I said I wish I wrote the way I talk? And I don't know, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I wrote the way I talk. I start out this essay with, "What's up, bro?" I don't know if that's the right approach, but that's how I talk. We're gonna be roommates. I have to tell you all about my trash bin. I have a separate trash bin full of crumpled up balls of paper. Should you take out some balls and open them up, you would find epistles to myself. Epistles? What does that even mean? Lyrics, incomprehensible handwritten notes, and other unpublished works. Let's be real, those handwritten notes are just like love letters to people that I was too scared to actually talk to. I don't do that anymore, guys. I'm not a simp. But if you happen to know Pokemon... Also, my trash bin right now is literally just cracker wrappers, a broken glass, Madeline wrappers. If you guys haven't had a Madeline, oh sheesh. Haagen-Dazs wrappers. Like, I definitely don't do that anymore, and I don't think I did that back then, guys. Like, there are literally no crumpled up things that I wrote down in this trash can right now. Personal writing provides an outlet for me. I'm able to scribble down exactly what I feel and think about without having to deal with someone else's reaction. I can release my secrets, my inhibitions, and my insecurities without the fear of being judged by a reader or listener. Everything is written by me for me. However, if we're gonna be roommates, I guess you need to go through my trash. That's deep, bro. That's deep. You get it? The double meaning, like not just my trash can, but you gotta know the deep, dark parts of me. Absolutely garbage. You need to understand what makes me who I am. My deepest fear is that I will be judged for my beliefs or judged for my weaknesses. But I'm willing to share all that with you if you're willing to read with an open mind. Since we're roommates, we're going to share the same trash. And I think that is absolutely beautiful. What makes you and I human is that we're both imperfect beings. We both have trash. Once we're able to appreciate and love each other, despite our failures, I think we'll be great roommates. That's cute. Still trying to figure out what an epistle is. The last essay. What matters to you and why? Well, clearly I don't care about getting views because the last couple videos, I think if I think about 18-year-old version of me, what mattered to me back then was probably like my friends liking me. That was a big thing, and that's one of the reasons why I was really sad all the time, was because I really loved my friends, but I guess they didn't love me back the same way, and so they'd hang out Friday nights and not invite me because apparently I'm not fun. 4,000 subscribers think I'm fun, guys. Look at me now. But let's see what 18-year-old me said. Growing up with parents who came to America when they were in their 30s taught me to appreciate voice. I remember I was at Subway with my dad and we saw a Mexican man order his meal. He ended up taking 15 minutes to order, which is pretty long for Subway, and ended up paying $5 extra because he had no idea what the cashier was saying. He couldn't understand English. I remember crying with my dad because we both knew that he could have been in the same situation as the Mexican man. I remember that. I still remember that. I was a communication major in college, and one of the reasons I wanted to be a communication major, really noble of me by the way, I saw so many failures in communication. My family and I, we still don't communicate perfectly. There's a slight language barrier, but also like a cultural barrier, you know? But I remember that moment when this happened, and my dad and I were literally eating and we just made eye contact. We didn't say anything, but we knew that could have been us. Or that might have actually been my dad when he first came to America. You should ever see someone struggling like that, like stand up for them. My parents' English is broken at best, so I can recall many moments when people have had a hard time understanding them. However, what frustrated me the most was when people would stop listening because they didn't want to try to understand my parents anymore. What matters to me is that people always listen. Maybe this is why I'm majoring in communications, because I'm trying to find the most effective methods to get people to listen to me and encourage others' voices. I know all too well, Taylor Swift, what it's like to have people stop listening because they don't understand me. This can't continue to happen, for communication is what binds our society together. People failed to understand my parents because they stopped listening. But the irony is that only by listening were they ever going to understand my parents. I wrote this. People failed to understand my parents because they stopped listening. But the irony is that only by listening were they ever going to understand my parents. Man, I gave up writing to become a YouTuber? Like, how are you going to read that and not accept me, Stanford? Is it because my parents are immigrants and not donors? Don't have millions of dollars to donate to a new building and get their name on it? Is that why you didn't accept me? Honestly, some of those essays were bangers. I don't really have much advice on like what it takes to write an essay, because like God leads as he leads and things will happen as they happen, and in almost every way it's not up to you. If you want more of these types of videos, I still got my UCLA essays, Columbia essays, Johns Hopkins essays. Let me know what you want to see in the comments below. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my day, and I'm gonna go help some people communicate if I see them struggling to communicate. Hope you guys have a good one. Like, subscribe. Peace.